This Wednesday, when I was writing the script for this video, I was in the quiet study area in the library. And when I was just kind of sitting there, breaking out my laptop, waiting for it to boot up, I look around a little bit. I look to my right, I look to my left. And when I looked to my left, I realized that there's a little Korean girl just sitting there. She was like 3 or 4 or something, but she was just kind of staring at me and wondering what I was doing, That's just how kids are. They're curious, they don't know a lot, and they want to figure some things out. And so as soon as I notice her, I just kind of turn and look at her, give her a little wave, a little smile. But she runs off immediately. I think half of it is because, her mom's there and she's calling her away. But the second thing is probably I'm just scary. I don't know. But that interaction honestly really made my day. It made me smile and it just made my mood a whole lot better. But it was also the idea and where the idea for this video came from. It reminded me of how I was when I was a kid. I was curious. I didn't know much about the world and I wanted to learn about pretty much anything. I would grab, hold, touch, punch, trying to look at anything I possibly could. That's how we were as kids. We don't know a lot. We have not even like a fraction of the experience we had now, not even like a 1,000th of the knowledge we have now. But that also comes with benefits because you can just be carefree, going around looking at people with no worries, no concerns for social norms. And life honestly was just so much better. But the term childlike curiosity, I think, has been thrown around a bunch of times. If you've been watching self-improvement videos, you've heard this before. I've heard it before on the videos that I've watched. And so I want to try and define what that actually is like. And first of all, I want to say you cannot be a kid. That was the first mistake I made when I was trying to tap back into this childlike curiosity. Because whenever you try and do that, try and become a kid again, you physically can't. You physically can't. Because the thing that's really different about us and when we were kids is the fact that they didn't have knowledge. We can't remove knowledge out of our head, and it's just gonna be there. We have it regardless if we want it or not. But when we didn't have it as kids, we were always curious. There were always things around us that we didn't know about. We didn't know what a couch was, and we now know that it's a very simple thing. We didn't know what a Lego brick was, but we now know what it is. Every single little thing that we see on a daily basis right now was something that we would have wondered about and we would have been curious about when we were kids. So first of all, do not try and be like a kid. But being curious and being a kid are two completely different things. If you're a kid, you're gonna be curious, but you don't have to be a kid to be curious. You can be just curious on your own. And curiosity almost always stems from some sort of interest. Like take for example, when you're interested in a person, you like a person, right? You're gonna be curious about them. You stalk their socials, try and find out a little bit more about them, and just get as much knowledge you can without having to actually go up there and confront them. But regardless, that's a show of curiosity. You're curious about them. And I think we all have an interest regardless of we're aware of it or not. Like I can't be the only one here, but I'm sure we've all had old hobbies that we wanted to get back into, but we just kind of made excuses and put it off. But that interest is always there. I've always had a desire to play chess and get good at it, and I've always had a desire to play with Legos and build some pretty cool things. Recently I have like this little mech thing that I built, or I've been breaking out the chessboard online on chess.com, of course. I don't know where my chess pieces honestly went. I've been looking for them, but they're nowhere to be found, but I'm just playing online at this point. But we all have an interest that's really, really deep down in us. You just have to look hard and remind yourself of the things. Because as soon as you remember some of those old habits, it will click. Or at least that's just the way it was for me. It might be different for some of you, but I think all of us have this innate desire, this innate interest in some of the old things that we used to do when we were kids. And the only way I can really explain this interest is because since we did it as a kid, we've always had this desire to do it in the first place. But now that all that we've learned throughout the years that we actually did do it when we were a kid, we've lost that knowledge. We've lost the skill and, expertise to actually do these things. But because there's that lack of knowledge, we become curious about it again. We become interested in learning again. And you might be wondering, why even do this? Why even try and tap into the childlike curiosity? For me personally, it's mainly a mental health thing. Because when I just spend 30 minutes to an hour at the end of the day, or just during the day, I find that it gives me a really, really good mental reset. It allows me to just recover. I feel better after playing a couple games of chess, and I feel that I can continue going even more. Although chess is probably a mentally draining thing, I feel motivated to continue regardless of how mentally tired I am or not. So for me personally, it's really just a way to take a break. Instead of doom scrolling, I'd rather play some chess, work my mind a little. And that to me is more than enough reason for me to continue doing this. I love chess, I love playing with Legos, and secondly, I think tapping into creativity and using our mind a whole lot more is definitely a good thing. We all have a kind of creativity inside us. Take for example, Legos. I might build a mech to defend a base against zombies, but someone else might create some chimera hybrid between a lion, a zebra, and an elephant. I don't know. We all have different types of curiosity, but letting ourselves explore that curiosity and express ourselves in some sort of way will definitely help. I can't really explain it, but just being curious makes me feel better. Being creative makes me feel better. It lets me take my mind off everything else. And it's a similar feeling towards when I record. Because right now, I do not have much thought going on. My main thought right now is spinning the wheels on this Lego thing. But, yeah. I think that's pretty much it for this video. I'm kind of stumped here. I'm kind of trying to rush this through, honestly. I'm planning to go to the gym in a little bit, so I wanted to get the fat pump for the chest and back. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me today here. I hope you found something interesting or something helpful from this video. I hope that you might have enjoyed it, whatever it is. I really do appreciate you for sticking to the end here and watching all the way through. But yeah, that's about it for me. So just stay consistent, stay disciplined, and keep on building that relationship with God, all right? Now, give me a kiss.